Why do you support Trump?
Well, I think the other side is worse. So
How so?
too progressive, too liberal.
How are we too progressive and liberal?
Well, you mean you as in like Kamala or
Kamala or me?
um it's just going a little too far left. So
In what way?
What do you think? What
Can
do you
you be
think?
specific?
Yeah, what do you think Kamala Harris went too far left on?
well, I think
Some of her
keeping
biggest ops were leftists, man. I think that
like
this is
who
just a low IQ take.
wait, who though?
Like almost every leftist ever.
Can you name one?
Yeah, for sure. A woman by the name of Athena. Just first person that comes to my head. Didn't like her policy. I'm not a leftist, but I didn't like some of her policy.
Yeah, so I'm allowed to like I'm allowed to not like some of Trump's policies, but he's still better to me than the other side.
Okay, right. That's kind of implied by the fact
Can
that
you
you
can
here
you be
made us.
specific?
So keeping conservative traditional family values, that's something that's important.
Really, traditional family values and cheating on every single one of your wives, and having
Mm.
like literally multiple different divorces.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Do you think men are. Well, I'll let you respond to Parker first. I'm sorry.
Wait, go ahead. I want to hear what you
Is that
said.
no? Tell me, is that a
No.
traditional family structure?
No,
Okay, is that traditional family values?
it's not correct, but
No. So then, why would you say that Donald Trump upholds family and traditional values to a greater extent?
well, his party does, not him.
In what
Can
way?
I. Can I.
Go ahead.
Well, the Republicans value family values.
You can't say how. Go ahead, Dean.
No,
So,
Democrats.
so
Okay,
traditional.
Democrats.
So the
They
traditional family structure. Would you say that would include the man leading and like working and protecting, providing the woman like staying at home, cooking, cleaning, raising the kids?
no. I mean, she's not a slave, but there should be some dynamic where, yeah, the man has a more forward presence.
So do you think that men are better at leading than women?
I mean, there's a long history of men leading in
Oh,
comparative.
wait.
I
Do
didn't
you
ask you
think
if
that
there's a
men
long
are better
history.
at leading than women? Yes or no?
Yeah, I didn't ask you if there's a long
Of
history
course they
of
are,
leading. Okay, could you give a reason why? Why are men better at leading than women? Let's hear it.
because violence is the underlying pressure. You know,
Oh, so I
What?
mean that was an incoherent statement. But are you saying that men are better at leading than women because they're more violent?
because if the violence comes into the picture, men can handle themselves more.
So wait, I'm now
Who's more
confused on what
likely
you're
to
saying.
commit that violence?
You're
Men,
okay. Well, okay. Well, I'll let you go, Parker. But then I want to be able to run a
No, no, no. Go
dialogue
ahead.
train a bit.
Go ahead.
No. If you want to finish that point, like
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So you think that men are better at leading than women, because you think that they're better equipped to deal with violence?
yes.
What do you mean by that?
What woman has led an empire or a, you know,
Oh, okay.
none.
Well, now you're saying that you think that men are better at leading than women because you can't think of like too many examples in history of like women leading. Well, like first and foremost, the reason why you can't think of too many examples of women in history leading is because you're uneducated. Like for instance, right now, right, Japan has it's not an actual empire, but they call themselves an empire, and right now their prime minister is a woman. So technically, that's a woman leading an
But
empire.
she's a
And not
puppet.
to
She's not
mention
even like.
the great
Wait.
female leaders that we see all around the world, like the president of India, Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth I, or right, the last PM of Germany, the current president of Mexico, Iceland, and a handful of others. But if you're just saying that you think that men are better at leading than women, because it is the case, you could think of more leaders throughout history that have been men. Okay, well, before Obama served as a president of the United States of America, right, we'd only had presidents that were white. What would you respond to a very racist person in 2007 who said that white people are better at leading than black people because we've never had a black president?
I would say they're wrong.
Okay, so you think that it's wrong to assume just because one demographic is more predominant within a position of leadership, it makes them better at it. Therefore, you just disputed your own logic. Thank you for cooking yourself.
I mean, that was a decent point. Okay.
All right. So, do you have any other reasons insofar as why you think that men are better at leading than women? We could go through them all with you, my friend.
Can you tell me why women are as good as men? How about that?
Because I'd say that there's no relevant distinctions between men and women that would make men better at leadership. If anything, right, I would say that there's some relevant distinctions that might possibly make women better at leading on average. However, I would not use gender as a relevant indicator of leadership ability. But the reason I'd say that possibly women are better at leading on average has to do with their emotional regulation when compared to men, okay? Right? Men commit 90% of violent crimes for a reason. Men are more likely to drunk drive for a reason. Men are more likely to recklessly drive for a reason. Men are more likely to self-unalive for a reason. That reason being that women are biologically predisposed to be able to deal with pain and manage
Sure.
stress better compared to men because of the the thicker spines that they have on their dendrites in the context of their neuroanatomy that evolution gave them to deal with childbirth. Not saying that they have to give childbirth, birth to children, but simply saying because they can, right? Evolution gave them a better pain and stress management level.
Okay, so you guys are professional debaters. I get it, but okay. So are you saying that men and women can do everything equally, and there should be no comparative difference? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, obviously, men and women don't do everything equally, like violent crime, right? But like, I mean, what my argument would be is that there's no relevant differences between men and women that make men better at leading.
Okay, so just the leading. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Could
wait,
you
so why
could you
have
could you give
women
us examples of things that men specifically do or men have that make them better leaders?
Can I respond with a question?
Sure.
So why, after the 19th Amendment, all the rights women were granted?
Oh
Can I
no.
complete my question? In the
Sorry, I'll
United
mute
States,
myself.
why have depression rates for women like skyrocketed since then? Aren't they supposed to be
Because
happier because
we
of
have
it?
a better ability of being able to diagnose that. Same things happened for men, dude. We have a better ability
I'm
now
talking
to
about
diagnose
exclusively
it.
for women,
You
though.
think that now we don't have a better ability to diagnose depression comparative to in the past?
So it's just that.
That
It's
yeah,
just that we can
that is
measure better.
literally the main reason. Yes.
Also, just like another thing, I would love to point this out real quick. Today, in 2025, right, we know more about male pattern baldness than we do about the female anatomy. Okay? So, 100 years ago in 1920, where do you think we were with being able to identify and attribute something such as depression, right, to the behaviors and activity of women?
So you would probably say the same thing for the rise in trans cases. We just can,
What?
now we're like
We
exponentially.
have a greater ability of specifically one diagnosing people in plenty of circumstances in terms of the situations of depression, and then for this situation, this is not related to that. This is specifically that people are more accepted in coming out.
And you don't think there's any trend that people, like some lost kids, are just attaching themselves to have some kind of identity, on
I
this
think that
sort
there
of
are
on this
plenty of
level.
other things specifically that they would engage in if that was the case, specifically that are not related to being trans, that specifically would have come with significantly less societal stigma.
I think Dean's pulling up some data for me.
Oh wait, so no, my mic cut out. I don't even know what you asked. But I was just gonna say, right, like even in medicine, like as I was just talking about in like the 1920s, right, every point that Parker's bringing up right now is valid, by the way. But holy shit, dude, right, like in the 1920s, the 19th century, like early to mid 20th century, like women were so like marginalized within medicine. It was like insane, right? Like doctors kind of looked at women as being sickly and irrational by nature. If they were treated at all, which often would require the consent of their husband, they were just kind of treated with this paternalistic attitude, and so on and so forth. And of course, right, these things are still true today. However, right, in the 19th and 20th century, right, it was just prevalent to such like an insanely higher degree to the extent where like if a woman was sad, right, that was just kind of the expectation. Go to the pharmacy and buy some Quaaludes. Not should I probably go see if I have depression or like anxiety. You know what I mean?
So I'm sure that was true for like Black Americans as well before. But what's the greater point you're making?
I think the greater point that I'm making, right, is that there's still medical marginalization that exists in this world, and more specifically in the United States of America for women today. However, it is something that has existed at significantly higher extents in the past, right, which have led to like an under level of diagnosis of like depression within women.
So instead of, okay, even if Trump doesn't promote family values, you would rather like the left side where just popping abortion pills and sleeping around and there's no family. I mean, the family's deteriorating in the
I
West.
actually, being like pro-choice is being pro-family
How?
Yeah, you understand
because
that
we see
people
better.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was like, it is the case that people have more children, specifically in the long run, if you allow them to plan their particular when they have children, along with specifically it makes us better off economically speaking. So actually increasing access to freedom and choice specifically is beneficial within all of those respects.
Right. And then there's also many other ways that the right is incredibly anti-family. Like, for instance, right, like, I bet you probably don't think that, like, gay couples should be able to adopt, right? You think that, like, two gay parents would be, like, bad parents
I mean,
simply
I never
because,
said
like,
that, but okay.
well, I said I bet, right? I didn't say I know. I said I bet.
Okay.
Am I right or am I wrong?
I have no opinion on that.
So do you think that, like, gay individuals are, like, worse at being parents than straight individuals?
No.
No, okay. Well, like many individuals on the right do, right? That's a very predominant
Okay.
belief, and that's also anti-family, right? Because from the data we know that families with two like gay parents have the same parental outcomes, if not in some scenarios better than families with like parents of opposite sexes, right? And because there's so much stigmatization surrounding right gay individuals on the right and surrounding gay parents on the right, this leads to like the marginalization of perfectly good and healthy families.
America gets involved in countries' affairs regardless, so at least Trump is trying to make peace in these
No, dude, he's
different parts of
definitely
the world.
not trying to make peace. He's literally been countries around the entire world. He's multiple boats specifically off the coast of Venezuela, which has specifically led to over 60, where there's absolutely no evidence that they've given to Congress specifically that they have had access to. Yet Donald Trump is still engaged in that, right? So that's not engaging in peacetime actions. That's engaging in war and conflict.
So even though Kamala would still fund the in Palestine, for example, you guys are fine with this, or do you also criticize her on that?
We criticize the Democratic Party specifically for funding that, right? But it is the case that we can point to the fact that Donald Trump is significantly worse as it relates to that, and plenty of other foreign policy issues, along with practically every domestic policy issue. So we have to be able to acknowledge the distinction between the Democrats and the Republicans, and acknowledge that Republicans are significantly worse, like Donald Trump.
And is that because like they're what's the word? Evangelicals?
What? I restate that.
Is that why they support them more? Is what you're saying? 'Cause, like Israel, because they're evangel. I can't say the
Well,
word, but the
actually,
Christian.
Netanyahu considers Donald Trump like Israel's greatest ally in the Oval Office ever.
I mean, that's his weakest point for me is him bending over for Netanyahu.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
for me,
Okay.
that's his weakest point.
I mean, you can also point to the fact that he was held civilly liable. So you can also point to the fact that he incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol and pardoned violent rioters, police officers, and he called them patriots. You can also point to the fact that he said he would date 10 years. You can also point to the fact that he bragged about walking into the changing rooms of women while they're changing without their consent, where an 18-year-old came out and said there was 4 girls as young as changing rooms and Donald Trump would barge in. Let alone the trade
he's a
wars
pervert.
caused around the entire world, let alone the specific anti-science claims from his administration claiming that the climate change is a hoax and that Tylenol usage during pregnancy causes autism, even though there's a study indicating no association after taking into account genetics in siblings.
Okay, I mean, yeah, he is kind of a pervert, yes, but
Kinda?
not but also in the insurrection, you say, I mean, they did find supposedly like FBI agents were pretending to be civilians as well. It's not like fully innocent civilians that marched on the Capitol.
Guess what? First and foremost, it was Trump's FBI. Second of all, Donald Trump's appointee is the director of FBI, Kash Patel, went on Fox News the day after Donald Trump made that claim and said it wasn't true.
Yeah, but there's leaks that.
No, there's not leaks. There's just a statement made by Trump.
So you believe every single person there at the insurrection was Trump supporters, like genuine Trump supporters.
The people who
believe that
Trump
you
pardoned.
believed a baseless word of mouth of Trump, right? Even when it is the case that his own FBI director has contradicted a statement.
And
Yeah,
you
why
don't think
why
there
did
was any-
Trump pardon liberals that were specifically there to cause division? Why would Trump do that?
No. He didn't pardon any
Yeah, Trump
FBI
didn't
agents,
do
but
that.
they
So
were
all
there.
of the people that he pardoned were conservatives, correct?
Yes, but they were
Okay, so
there
if all the
starting
people he
pot.
pardoned were conservatives, the violent rioters who police officers who he called patriots, right? Those people specifically were also conservatives, Trump supporters, and they were pardoned by Donald Trump, indicating that he condones that behavior.
I mean, I'm not tinfoil hatting whatever the chat's saying, but there's reports on FBI agents being there, and they were stirring the
There's
pot.
not.
Trump's
There's
FBI.
not. I'm so sorry, man. There's just simply not any
Okay, so it's not
evidence
true. I
that
mean,
there was
okay, maybe I read
plainclothes
something wrong.
FBI
I mean,
agents stirring the pot. That's just fake news, dude. Give me the report. Give it to me.
okay, I mean, maybe that was fake, but
God, all that it takes for you to roll over is to ask for evidence. Jesus, man.
no, I mean, I'm saying maybe it is. I mean, I have to dig into it, but
Then dig
trust
into
me,
it.
bro. Can I ask you guys about like Mamdani, like your views on him? It's not a pivot if he's big, his Trump's biggest opponent right now. He's like Mamdani.
Well, he's not his opponent.
Yeah,
Well, I
like, what are
mean,
you talking
someone that's
about?
speaking against him in that sense, he is.
What?
The question that we're asking here is why do you support Trump?
Because he's better.
How does
He's
that
better than the other side. Okay, we can get.
how does that conceptually relate to our thoughts on Zoran Mamdani
Okay,
whatsoever?
you can ignore that, but because he's better than the other side. That's why. I mean, you guys made a profession out
How
of this,
is
you know,
how is Donald Trump
Dumbass.
better than Kamala Harris?
Sorry.
because he's a man and he's not a woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then you want to debate on that
Yeah.
one? Why is he a
Yes.
better leader just because he's a man?
Wait, we already went over this.
Yeah, we
This
already
guy
did
got-
this.
this
Oh,
guy
actually, then
got
I'll ask him
fucking
this. I'll ask him
grilled.
my question here. If Donald Trump and Kamala Harris swapped bodies, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's body, and Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's body, who would you vote for?
The man.
Oh, so you would vote for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's body?
Yeah, if she was a man.
Okay, by the way, it has nothing to do with the characteristics they have, has nothing to do with the policies they advocate for, has 100% to do with their biology. That just tells us you don't actually have a basis for them being a better leader. You're just saying because they have male biology, right? It is the case that they're a better leader. That's an incoherent argument. That's not predicated
So-
off of any
Wait,
actual leadership qualities or characteristics or policies that
let
would
me
lead a
respond.
country towards like a better situation.
Question.
Wait,
Question.
there's women that
Question.
only
Question.
vote for Kamala because she's a
Question.
woman.
Kamala.
Question.
How is that not equal?
Question. Who are you taking for supreme leader of the world? Mother Mary or supreme leader of
Who's-
the world? Who you got?
I mean, I'm not Christian, so I don't care. But
Your
No,
mom
no,
or
not-
your mom or
neither.
neither. Your mom? Your mom?
I don't want her.
You
to
would
be
pick. You
supreme
would pick
leader.
neither. I'm sorry. You would pick neither. How about if you're the deciding vote? Your mom or who would you vote for in a presidential election?
What happens if I opt out?
What do you mean opt out? That's not
Then it-
possible. That's impossible.
So if you don't vote, then it wins by default.
Yeah.
I would vote for my mom in that case.
Okay. Okay. So now you'd
I mean,
vote
I'm
for your
not-
mom. Why did we have to interrogate that out of you? That's nuts.
See?
We had to interrogate out of you that you would pick your mom for president over.
Well, she doesn't want to be president. That's the point. She wants to be a at-home
But
mother.
who you understand that who is a better option given that it's necessary one or the other.
Then obviously her. I mean, I'm not gonna pick.
Yeah. Okay, well then I don't even know why you were questioning it earlier and saying that you would not even vote in that circumstance.
Obviously, I'm messing
So
around a
obviously
little
you
bit,
wouldn't
but-
just vote for someone because they're a man, right?
So the woman that want to vote for Kamala
Kamala.
because she's a woman, how is that not equal?
What?
There's females that only
There's
want to pick her
women.
just because they want. Yeah, because
There's
they want to
women
have
who
the
are
first-
also misogynistic does not justify you being misogynistic. What are you saying?
No, I'm saying they want the first female president, the first woman
Oh,
president.
you're saying people who
wait, I have a
Go ahead.
question. Do you think the women that like only voted for Kamala Harris because she was a woman are like stupid?
No,
Of course you do, considering the fact that you think men are better at leading than women.
that's not. No, I'm
Would you say
saying
that would you say that they're wrong?
no.
You wouldn't say that they're wrong? How could dude? Okay, what?
So wait, so
What the
if I'm a man,
wait,
I don't want to
wait,
vote for the man.
Wait. So you'd
Oh
affirm,
my God.
right, that a woman, that as a Trump supporter, that's very misogynistic, and you think that men are
I'm not
better leading than women-
misogynistic.
yes, you are. You'd affirm that a woman only voting for Kamala Harris as a misogynistic Trump supporter, that only voted for her because she is a woman as well. You'd affirm that that is a valid and sound, line of thought.
But there's those that do it. So
Can you answer my question?
Is it a
valid and sound
reasonable
line of
thing to
thought?
do? Is it
Is that
reasonable?
reasonable?
I mean, you should look at their policies too. Obviously,
Oh, so
Okay.
so it's unreasonable?
Wait, by the way, he just said that he would vote for Kamala Harris in Donald Trump's body, meaning he didn't even look at the policies because the policies, right, were
Right,
Kamala
this
Harris's
is-
policies over Donald
This
Trump's
is-
policies in
this
that
is-
circumstance.
This is what we're getting around to. Right, you think that it's unreasonable for a woman to only support Kamala Harris because she's also a woman. Therefore, because you're the one that said that this is the same thing as you only supporting Trump because he's a man, you're calling your own position unreasonable, you idiot.